Welcome to Musings of Faith. I'm Tai McQuavener. It has been a few days. I'm well. I'm doing great. Thankful for that. And I hope you are too. So recently, I read the account of Sodom and Gomorrah being destroyed, and I thought to share my learnings from this. So I'll start from where Abraham tried to intercede for the city in chapter 8 of Genesis. The Bible records that after the men had left Sodom, Abraham remained with the Lord. Now, the men being, I believe they were angels. And then he pleaded with God, saying, would you destroy the wicked with the righteous? And then said, what if there are 50 righteous people? And the Lord said, I will spare Sodom for the sake of 50. Then he asked, for the sake of 45? The Lord said, I'll spare Sodom for 45. Then for 40, 30, 20, and finally 10. And the Lord said, I will spare Sodom for the sake of 10 people. And Abraham went home. Now the men were angels. They showed up at the gates of Sodom in the evening. And this is chapter 19. Now Lot was at the gate. He noticed them. He went to meet them and to welcome them. Then he compelled them to spend the night at his home, because what the men had planned to do was to spend the night in the square, which was not safe. So I'll summarize what happens next, and then I'll share my learnings from this. So the angels went home with Lot. But before they retired for the night, all the men of Sodom came to Lot's house and asked Lot to send out these two men so they could have carnal knowledge of this man. All the men, young, old, and that would also suggest fathers and sons, brothers, all wanting to force themselves on these two men. Bible records that Lot begged them, don't do this, and then he offered his two virgin daughters in a desperate attempt to appease this man. Now, I don't know if his daughters heard him making these negotiations, but I cannot imagine what the conversations afterwards would have been. Oh, really, Dad? Well, long and short of the story was that the angels blinded the men of Sodom. Then they told Lot to get his family out first thing in the morning, for they were about to destroy the city. They instructed Lot to run to the mountains for safety. Lot thanked the angels for their kindness, but declined to go to the mountains, saying disaster would catch up with him there. So instead, he begged the angels to send him and his family to the little village nearby, to which the angels agreed. So they ran to the village. His wife looked back, and she turned into a pillar of salt. See, I wondered when I read this, why Lot never asked the angel for speed or some kind of divine help to get to the mountain quickly, or perhaps the host of angels to guard the mountains for extra protection, because after all, he had the courage and faith to ask to be sent to the little village. So I thought, why not go big in your asking, or go home, as they say? But then I realized he had asked for what his faith could carry. And here are a few learnings I got from this. Number one, ask God to help you take baby steps in case you don't have faith for the mountains yet. There is a saying, it's a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you're unable to walk, crawl. Whatever you do, just keep moving forward. And I add, don't stop. And most definitely, don't look back. Same with that Lot's wife did. So Lot asked the angel to allow them to run to the village instead of running to the mountains. He said, see the little village over there? Please send me and my family there, and I'll be safe. So, and that's it. They went to the mountain. See, we all want to feel safe. Safe in our homes, safe in our relationships, in our workplaces, on the streets, safe in our skin. And safety is a good thing. Yet sometimes, not all the time, the place of safety could be quite limiting. It's the place where we're most comfortable and most familiar. It could be a place of confinement to the same level, the plain or the valley, where we've been called to the mountains. So Lot felt safe in the small village. He was familiar with the area. It was small, and perhaps it was quite cozy. Yet the mountain, as we know, is a place of refuge, a place of safety. So nowhere could I even imagine would be safer than being in the caves of the mountain. Another thing is that the mountain signifies a higher level, a place of elevation, new level. And there is no doubt that running to the mountains will require more effort, more strain, both literally and metaphorically. And perhaps the thought of that alone is so discouraging and exhausting that it feels easier to stay in the safe and familiar place of the village. So when God calls us to a higher place in our walk with Him, in our responsibilities, or perhaps we want to take bigger steps in our careers, in life, or bigger challenges, in life, it will look daunting. It will require more effort, more discomfort, more sacrifices, but we can trust Him. We can ask Him to help us take one step at a time as we climb up this mountain. We can ask and know that we will be kept safe, and He will guide us till we get to the expected end. See, because in the end, Lot and his daughters still ended up in the mountains. The Bible records that after a while, Lot became afraid of the people of the village. Then he went to live in the mountains with his daughters. God is benevolent and He knows us and where we're at. The journey to the mountain for some will be from the valley straight to the mountain. For others, it would be from the valley to the little village, a few detours, and eventually to the mountains. But keep moving and keep trusting every step up in this journey of life. So this was my biggest learning from the passage of this Bible. My second learning is this. The little village called Zoar was meant to be destroyed, but because of Lot, this little village was spared. See, you may not have faith to pray for a whole nation, but perhaps you can stand in the gap for your little neighborhood or a friend or for your workplace. My third learning is this. A place or situation may be irredeemable, but the Lord will always save His own. So Abraham tried to intercede for the destruction of Sodom, but he couldn't. But Lot and his family were spared. So don't copy the customs and behavior of those around you. Stay true to who God has called you to be, because God is looking out for you. My fourth and final learning is this. Lot must be a certain kind of person to have noticed the angels at the gate, because he compelled them to stay at his home for their own safety. Perhaps they looked different, like strangers. Perhaps there was a prompting within him to care for them. Either way, he did. And there is a lesson here. Look out for strangers. Be hospitable to those who look like they don't belong. And if there's a prompt in your heart to reach out, please do. Just make it a habit. It's a lovely thing to do. So these are the learnings that I took away from this passage of scriptures. I hope this has blessed and encouraged you in some way. If you know someone who may need to hear this, please feel free to share. I look forward to having you back again sometime soon. Until then, have a great day and God bless you.